We're here at the Smith Center, and I'm sitting alongside Arkansas defensive line coach Derek LeBlanc. Coach LeBlanc, welcome to OTA.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Talk about it. How has it been? First couple of weeks on the job. I know you guys hit the ground running, had to put together a class in a very short amount of time. But how has the transition gone?
Man, fast. I mean, it's a little more difficult now with the early signing day when you're a new staff and you have to go in. Back in the day, you could fight till February and battle for some guys. But now, I think Coach Pittman got hired a couple of days before early signing. I think he did a great job of getting started and getting guys in the boat really early. And then the momentum through January to now, I think it's been pretty good considering the circumstances.
We had a mutual friend, Coach Michael Smith. You coach with at Kentucky.
Right.
Yeah, I called Mike when I heard that you possibly would be the coach. Mm-hmm. What were some of the things that Coach Smith explained to you about working here and coaching at the University of Arkansas?
Well, I think everything that's shown itself to be true. Like, he said it was a great place, which we knew it was. He loved this place here. A lot of good people here. He had a lot of friends here. He talked about the facilities and the ability to recruit to this place. That I think he had a little bit of success himself getting kids to come here. So everything he had to say was through the roof.
When you go out and recruit, like I said, you had a short amount of time. What was the message that you guys, as a staff, tried to get across to prospective recruits? Just, because you guys didn't have a lot of time.
Right. Well, convince the kids that we can win here. And it's been proven that we've won here before. And getting kids to believe that we can win and compete in the SEC West here at Arkansas and the resources that we have for them. I think here, you look around through these windows, I mean, this place is really second to none when it comes to what's available for the student athlete. And I think that was the message that was sent to the kids and to the parents.
You got here, sat down with Coach Odom and staff. What made you want to be a part of this defensive staff at the University of Arkansas?
I think it starts with good people. I know it sounds cliche, but it starts with good people. Start with the head coach. I got a chance to go and coach against Coach Pittman and coach against Coach Odom and saw the things that they were doing individually with their respective teams. And then really a good friend of mine is Brad Davis, who I trust with everything, man. So there's a couple.
Welcome in. It's our Thursday edition of On the Hill with Pat Jenkins Sports Talk Radio, and we're going to continue on. We have a packed show. It's more Hall Guys segment as we're going to continue to take you into the recruiting room, or we should call it the green room or the red room. Which one you want to call it, Demetrius? But we'll call it the red room. Just take you around the country. The first guest we have today will be Da'Quan Gonzalez out of Stuart, Florida. Jansen Beach High School, the big 2021 DB athlete Arkansas has just extended an offer with. Over a little over 48 hours ago, Coach Scott Fountain is the lead recruiter for that young man. We'll have on Da'Quan and just get his take on a lot of schools that this young man has, been made a high priority of. And then we're going to follow up with 2022 four-star quarterback from Carrollton High School in Villa Rica, Georgia, MJ Morris. He's going to come on and talk about his relationship with Coach Jimmy Smith there at Arkansas. Talk about just how Jimmy's got his interest in the university to this point. And then we're going to follow up and head all the way to Nevada, Las Vegas, where, things that happen in Vegas stays in Vegas. So we're going to head up and talk to 2022 outside linebacker Cyrus Moss. He also, too, has an Arkansas offer, and we'll talk to him about his relationship that he's starting to build with linebackers coach Ryan Rhodes. All that's coming up, but real quick, want to give a shout-out to our sponsors before we get this thing going, and I bring in my producer, Demetrius Johnson. I want to give a shout-out to Lindsay and Associates with an office location in Fayetteville, an office location also, too, in Rogers. Locomotion. It's located just below the Northwest Arkansas Mall in Fayetteville. Corey Beck's Custom Painting, and lastly, KDK's Chicken. It's down at 989 South Razorback Road. Get on down there, see Keith and Kathy, get a plate of that love. And like they say, it's not your mama's, the best chicken and waffles in the South. But we'll let you hear audio from Arkansas defensive line coach Derek LeBlanc and Demetrius. In that sit down, the one thing I walked away understanding is that Arkansas as a program, in particular the lines of scrimmage, will be of a high priority. And as we've been able to display here throughout our last week and a half on the Hog Eye segment. The lines of scrimmage, they're getting that brand across really, really big, my man.
Absolutely. I think that's going to be a high priority, and I think it's going to be also another position that we don't have to work as hard. I think that's going to be probably the first group of Razorbacks that you really see maturate, that you go see Sam Pittman's recruiters go
Great
get.
point.
Even when you go look at other positions, I think a lot of those other positions really have to develop, and it's going to take 1 to 2 years before you see those kids that they really go get grow into what consumers will see as them really being productive and producing. But I think when you look at these defensive linemen and offensive linemen that they go get, these guys are going to be ready-made and be freshmen ready to come out on the field to play right away and aid this Razorback program.
And when you look at this, a new ranking system came out. I believe it was Rivals. Out of the top 100 2022 prospects, Arkansas has 25 offers out to those young men. So it just goes to show, Coach Pittman in our availability several weeks ago talked about how they felt they were behind in the 21 and really behind in the 22 classes. And it just seems like each and every day there's a new offer in either the 21 or 22. And then, Demetrius, you even mentioned it. They're as far down as the 23 and 24 classes with extending at least one offer to prospects in the 23 and 24 classes. But it's just really impressive that they are able to get out the brand of the University of Arkansas. But we're going to start getting out the brand, and we always say, it's the Hog Guys because they don't stop watching. We're going to let you hear more of our sit-down with defensive line coach Derek LeBlanc, and then when we return, Da'Quan Gonzalez of Jansen Beach High School in Florida. He's up next. It's On the Hill with Pat Jenkins on KDSJ 479. Let's get into it.
I wanted to be a part of it, and I'm happy I'm here.
When you look at the SEC, we always know from as it's a line of scrimmage league.
Yes.
What is it that's so different from the line of scrimmage play than any other conference, in your opinion, Derek?
Well, everybody's big and physical. I think everybody recruits big and physical. This league is known as a team that if you're going to win a championship, you got to be able to run the football. I know what everybody wants to see. Everybody wants to see a lot of points scored. Everybody wants to see a lot of the excitement in the stands. But at the end of the day, from Pee Wee football to the Super Bowl, the teams that can run the ball typically win those big games. And it starts with the big guys up front.
Your particular philosophy on the defensive line, I had a chance to watch your group at Kentucky.
Right.
Those are some dudes.
Right.
What will be the philosophy that you imprint on your guys?
I think getting guys to understand what their role is. Everybody sees the flashy highlights of D-line play. Everybody wants the sacks. Everybody wants the TFLs. But those are so far between. They don't happen often.
Right.
But just understanding your role as a big guy, that your job is to disrupt the line of scrimmage and protect the fast guys behind you and allow those guys to play, but still have the ability to make plays within the scheme of the defense.
What does Derek LeBlanc look for when he goes out and recruits defensive linemen to the University of Arkansas? What's the one thing that you look for above all else?
Physical. Guys that are physical, guys that love to play football.
Man, I like chicken and waffles. What's a good place I can get some chicken and waffles? I know. KDK's Chicken at 989 South Razorback Road. Get on down there and see Keith and Kathy. Get a plate of that love. And like they say on their building, it's not your mama's. The best chicken and waffles in the South. They even got chicken wings. And they got these things called loaded fries. I think you might want to get on down there. Meet me down there or see me down there. KDK's Chicken at 989 Razorback Road.
Welcome in to our Thursday edition of On the Hill with Pat Jenkins Sports Talk Radio here on KDSJ 479. And we let you hear more audio from Coach Derek LeBlanc. But, when Sam Pittman was named the head football coach here at the University of Arkansas, he said that Florida would be one of the footprint states that they would make a high priority to recruit. And they stuck true to what they said. So we're going to head down to Jansen Beach High School in Stuart, Florida, and catch up with 2021 D-back. I call him an athlete because he's just that versatile. Da'Quan Gonzalez. Da'Quan, welcome to On the Hill.
Thank you, Coach.
Get off into your recruiting, Da'Quan. Arkansas comes in roughly about 48 hours ago with their scholarship offer. Scott Fountain, the assistant football coach there at Arkansas, reached out and extended that. But talk about, how big was that offer from Arkansas, and what other schools are you hearing from that are making you a high priority so early into your senior season?
Oh, that offer was big because before that offer, I started with just like Ivy League offers and like Air Force, Army, and like a couple of like other like little schools or like in some in the area. But once after Arkansas, I picked up LSU, Kentucky, and Duke like within like less than 48 hours. So the offer really jump started my recruitment.
When you look at Arkansas, a program over the last several years hadn't had a lot of SEC conference or regular season success, but here comes Coach Scott Fountain and Coach Pittman. Talk about, how excited you are to, if Arkansas is your school of choice, to be able to be a part of possibly bringing that program to national prominence.
Yeah, that's I like doing that whenever I play any sport or anything. I like going to a school, that doesn't really have the biggest, name out or anything like that, and bringing them up and then like putting them in the spotlight. So that really shines and sticks out to me about Arkansas.
When I watch your film, and I think the viewers that are listening to our interview at the moment, Da'Quan, watching tape as well, what sticks out to me is your versatility on both sides of the football. Like I said, I like to label you as an athlete because I don't want to put you in a box. But talk about what side of the ball do you prefer in college once you make that decision?
I'm 99.9% sure I would want to play DB in college, just for the fact that I've always been because I've always played basketball and football, and every sport, every game I've ever played, I've always, like defense a little bit more than offense. So I'm just a defensive-minded guy. So.
Talking with Da'Quan Gonzalez of Stuart, Florida, Jansen Beach High School. What are some of the things that you're working on heading into your senior year? I know you can't go through spring ball due to the COVID pandemic. How are you getting your workout in, kind of so you can stay in shape, so when normal life resumes, you'll be ready for your senior year?
There's a field not too far from my house, so me and a couple of other guys on the team go there. Work on routes. Like presses and like footwork drills and a couple of other things. And my friend has like a curl bar and a bench and a couple other things. And my assistant coach has a squat rack and a deadlift bar. So just like alternate between those every day and get you working.
When you're able to get out and take some unofficial or official visits, Da'Quan, what schools do you plan on getting out to?
I'm not really sure yet. I was going to decide that like when everything like settles down and dies down a little bit, but I was thinking like if I'm gonna like go on like visits, I'm gonna plan to like take like one trip and visit at least like 3 schools on like the one trip. You know what I mean?
Right. Now, Da'Quan, you and I had a discussion last night, and I asked why the number 18. Could you tell the listeners the significance behind you wearing that jersey?
Well, when I was playing Pop Warner, I always wore 19. But in my final year at Pop Warner, I wore 18. And then that same year, my nephew passed away. And when he passed away, they didn't let me go in at first. But after like everything died down, I went in. And I don't know why. The only thing that stood out to me was the room number. It was room number 18. So, and I was like, I'm not ever taking this number off. So.
What do you plan on majoring in once you pick your school of choice and you get on that campus?
I'm going to either major in some type of engineering or business.
Now, Da'Quan, what NFL or collegiate athletes, because like I said, I just can't put you in that box. I mean, you're too good of a football player, but who are some athletes that do it on both offensive and defensive sides, either in collegiate or NFL, that you like to watch?
I don't know why, but whenever I watch like NFL, I cannot be like a fan of offensive players. I don't know why. Maybe it's just because they're too good. But in NFL, I really like watching like in zone coverage Richard Sherman, and then in man coverage, obviously, I like watching Darrell Rivas.
Awesome. Talking with Da'Quan Gonzalez of Stuart, Florida, Jansen Beach High School here on the Hill Sports Talk. When I come to the football stadium there in Florida, Jansen Beach, and I get my 20-ounce soda, my popcorn, find the highest seat in the stadium, what type of football player will I see in Da'Quan Gonzalez for those 4 quarters once that ball is kicked off?
You're gonna see someone who's gonna give it their all, because that's what I do. So I don't know anything else. I just go out there, I play my hardest. I try to not come off the field as much as possible. If there's a point to be scored, I want to be on the field. So that's who you're gonna see.
Now let's have a little fun, Da'Quan. You and I joked about this last night. I hope you got your list ready, but you and I, hey, we're riding around in Stuart, Florida, just vibing, you and I. The first 5 songs on your playlist when we roll out, what are those first 5 songs we're listening to?
I will tell you this: I do not listen to anyone else but one artist. So, the one artist I listen to, he's out of St. Petersburg, Florida. I don't know if he reached you guys yet, but he's like in the middle of being like on the brink of like actually like blowing up and like still being like underground. So it'd be any one of his songs. I listen to them all. So it'd be Rod Wave, any one of his songs.
See, my producer, it's funny, Da'Quan, he said when you mentioned the Florida, he said Broadway. He was just waiting for that to be said. He makes his own beats for our show, and he's also a producer. So and he's going to bring, I believe he's going to have him here at the Arkansas homecoming this upcoming season. So keep that in mind. If you may want to take an official visit, you can come see your guy.
Yes, sir.
Well, thank you for taking time out, Da'Quan, and we'll conclude this. I'm going to make a statement, and you finish the statement for me. When football is done with for Da'Quan Gonzalez, he's going to be doing what with his life afterwards?
I think I'm going to want to live down south, and obviously have a nice family. I was planning on owning a wolf, but I don't know if owning a wolf will work down south. So
right.
I don't know if it's legal. So if I can't own the wolf, I'll just get 2 dogs. And I don't think I would want like to live on like big land or anything. I'm sort of like not a city guy, but like sort of in the middle of city and like on the outskirts.
Right. Good point. Well, Da'Quan, my man, hey, our line is your line. Feel free. We're going to continue to touch base with you throughout your recruiting process and try to have you on at least once, twice a month, just to get an update. You okay with that?
Yeah, for sure.
Well, D, as always, thanks for taking time out, my man. Good luck on your senior year, and you have a blessed one, my friend.
Thank you. You too.
That was Da'Quan Gonzalez out of Stuart, Florida, Jansen Beach High School. And I got to go over to the analyst. What'd you see, D?
I think you hit it on the head. A lot of people get mad if I say this because I don't want to put him in the likes of this Hall of Famer, but just with everything he can do, he reminds me of a Deion Sanders, just a guy that can really play lockdown coverage, a guy that can make plays happen in special team, and I don't think you really see a lot of kids able to do play with the physicality, the finesse that he does, because he's a guy that can really make some agile moves, but he plays with a edge on the shoulders, and I think that's just that Florida lifestyle. So I think he could definitely be a game changer when you talked about some things Arkansas needs.
Stephen Wilson, real quick before we take a quick break, and we're going to let you hear our other sit down that we had with offensive coordinator, quarterbacks coach Kendall Browse coming up, and then following Coach Browse, we're heading down to Georgia, where we're going to head to Carrollton High School and catch up with our good buddy and top prospects 2022 quarterback MJ Morris will be up. But when you look at this, Demetrius, he said he wanted to play in a small town, more of a small town guy. You kind of see where I'm going with that?
Definitely. I think, Arkansas sticks out to them already because, you got to listen to what these kids say, or the young men say. I think it's special to him for Arkansas to come in and then all these following schools come in. I think they take notice of the guys that really recognize them on the highest level first. When Arkansas comes in there recruiting, before the LSUs, before the Dukes, before those blue chippers come in. I think as a young man, you always kind of remember your first, especially when it comes to football. It kind of gives you that, they were the first to really believe in my talent sort of thing. And I think, Arkansas is being smart. I think that was something Coach LeBlanc said that he commended Coach Pittman about just getting on kids early.
Right.
I think that's the key to recruiting. You gotta show interest before anyone else does. And then once you do show the interest, you have to show them that you want them more than someone else. So,
absolutely.
I think Arkansas definitely has the potential to get really any kid that they want. I think now people are really seeing that Arkansas has the brand that they can walk into a room with the Alabama, LSU, Auburn, and there's an even chance that this kid will pick Arkansas over Alabama, LSU, or Auburn. There's days back. I wouldn't even say days. Last year we couldn't say the same thing. But I think this year you at least say, hey, we have, if there's 4 SEC schools, we have a legit 25% chance of going in there with the even playing field and recruiting that kid just as well as any blue blood in SEC football.
And real quick, want to make a quick note as we're doing our Hall Guys. Arkansas has Hall Guys as well. As we talked to Trey Murphy III during that time yesterday. Arkansas found out shortly after the conclusion of our show that they had a big-time commitment from grad transfer out of New Mexico, Vance Jackson, 6'9", 235-pound combo forward that Arkansas really, really covets. Had a prior relationship with Coach Eric Musselman. So kudos to Coach Musselman and that staff. They've gotten bigger, gotten more mature, and really think on the horizon, big things are about to happen for that program under Coach Eric Musselman. But we're going to take a quick break. We caught up with Kendall Browse, head offense coordinator, quarterbacks coach. We'll let you hear some of his conversation, and then when we come back from Carrollton High School in Georgia, 4-star 2022 quarterback MJ Morris, he's going to be joining us. It's On the Hill with Pat Jenkins on KDSJ 479. Let's get it.
Coordinator, quarterback coach Kendall Brown. Welcome to the Hill, my man.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Talk about the transition, of moving from Tallahassee, Florida to Fayetteville, recruit and having a short window. How has that transition gone up to this point, Coach?
It's been fast, and it is when you go into it. You got, I think they might have signed 7 guys in the first signing period. That may be incorrect, but it was somewhere down in there. So you knew you had some legwork. Then you get in the first staff meeting on January 6th, and Coach Pitt was saying we got to have 2 quarterbacks. So time to go to work. And our staff, offense staff, defensive staff, everybody I think did a great job of ensuring that the relationships that they had were still stable and being able to sign a tremendous class.
Talk about those 2 quarterbacks, Felipe Franks, who get grad transfer, and then the big one yesterday. And we just talked about it. You've been after Malik Hornsby for several years. Talk about those 2 guys and how they're, what each guy will bring to that quarterback room once we get into spring ball and then fall camp.
Yeah, Felipe's here, so spring ball we'll be able to have him here. Malik Hornsby will be running track at Thurgood Marshall High School, so he won't. But Felipe, just getting a guy who's done it at a high level is the biggest thing. He's proven you can buy a lot of things in this world, you can't buy experience, and he's got it. And so being able to have a guy who's done it at a high level with success. He walks in here, he's got credibility. And so that was huge, being able to get him. He's a great football player as well. And then Malik's just an all-around great athlete, really good quarterback, smart kid, and at one point had every offer in the country. So extremely excited to be able to coach him.
Take me back to when you accepted the job with Coach Pittman. Why Arkansas now, and what was so appealing to come and work under Sam Pittman here at Arkansas?
Yeah, I didn't know much about him, and then once I came here and met with him for, 14, 15 hours, I just had a great feel around the guy. And, in this business, I've learned that if you're around really good people and you enjoy going to work, then you're going to thrive as a person. And he's going to allow that. And I'm really excited about being around him and coaching for him, helping him be successful.
for those that come to the games, what is your offensive philosophy? Or is it aggressive, or how does Kendall Browse like to attack each and every Saturday offensively?
Yeah, I mean, it always depends on the defense and our personnel offensively, what you can and can't do. But, we want to be a tempo attacking football team, stretching people horizontally and attacking them vertically, whether that's in the run game or the throw game. So that's what we want to be. Hopefully be productive on top of all of that.
When you go out and recruit at whatever position, what's the one thing Coach Browse looks for above all else before you proceed on and hopefully at the end, offer the kid a scholarship? What is the one thing that you look for?
What position are we talking about?
Quarterback.
Quarterback?
Quarterback.
If you don't say talent to start out, then you're not being truthful. You want to have a kid that's talented, especially on this level that we're playing. And then he's got to check all the other boxes, and you're going to do that not always through him, but through coaches, counselors, track coaches. You check with all the different people that touch him on a daily basis.
And I like chicken and waffles. What's a good place I can get some chicken and waffles? I know. KDK's Chicken at 989 South Razorback Road. Get on down there and see Keith and Kathy. Get a plate of that loving. Like they say on their building, it's not your mama's. The best chicken and waffles in the South. They even got chicken wings, and they got these things called loaded fries. I think you might want to get on down there. Meet me down there or see me down there. KDK's Chicken at 989 Razorback Road.
Welcome back. It's our Thursday edition of OTH here on KDSJ 479, and we'll be joined here momentarily by 2022 four-star quarterback MJ Morris out of Villa Rica, Georgia, Carrollton High School. He'll be joining us momentarily, but I still want to get back into some of our questions as we had some really good feedback. Steve Wilson, a very loyal viewer that always gives great questions. He says, do you think the dead period will help or hurt Pittman? Demetrius, I'll let you tackle that question, and then I'll chime in as well. Do you think the dead period helps or hurts Coach Pittman going forward?
I think when you look at it from a short-term perspective, I think it hurts. I think it definitely hurts when you look at what's going on in the immediate future as in going into this 2020 season. It definitely hurts. But I think when you look at the longevity that I think Sam Pittman will have at the University of Arkansas, I think it has a positive effect because I think now it balances the time for him to make known his name here at Arkansas with these younger guys. Even though he hasn't played a game here, it still allows him to get the Razorback in front of these kids that have never heard of Arkansas or haven't had the chance. Because I think the one thing that Sam Pittman does have going for him is he can still revert back to the Bielema era and show them that he's had success. That he's won a Liberty Bowl, that he's been to a Texas Bowl. So I think when you look at things like that you can show as far as success that can come out of Arkansas, and then you compare it to the other schools, I think it still allows him to recruit, even though he hasn't played a game as a head coach here at Arkansas.
Well, we have now been joined by our big-time four-star quarterback, or I'm going to go ahead and give him a 5-star because it's just a matter of time when he becomes probably one of the top, if not the top quarterback in the country. I know he's the best one in Georgia. So we're going to head down to Major Arkansas 2022 prospect, MJ Morris from Carrollton High School. MJ, welcome to OTH.
Yes, sir.
Get off into it, my man. You just had a conversation. You text me. Who did you just get off the phone with? Just because I want the listeners just to understand just how your recruiting has picked up.
I just got off a FaceTime call with Michigan with Coach Harbaugh, Coach McDaniels, the quarterback coach, and the director of recruiting.
Now let's get off into it. And congratulations for the it's warranted. Everything you're getting, you earned it, young man. But let's talk about the University of Arkansas. As Coach Jimmy Smith and staff entered their hat in the ring for your services roughly about 48 hours ago with the scholarship offer. MJ, talk about what went into that and what did Coach Smith tell you about that Arkansas offer and how you would fit in?
Well, I haven't talked to Coach yet, but he talked a lot to my head coach, and my head coach told me that he just loves the way I play, my play style, and he would love to have me down to play for him as quarterback at Arkansas because he think I would be a great fit. And when my coach told me that they offered, it was like, wow, like I really just got offered by a big time SEC school, like that really like made me smile.
Now you had just recently been invited, and you're one of the few underclassmen to be invited to the 5-Star Challenge. I know may or may not be able to attend that event, but talk about just how big was that to be, one of the underclassmen, one of the few that were able to be able to have that opportunity.
Oh, that was definitely a big opportunity to be like one of the youngest people there, and then you competing against some of the best guys around. Like that's definitely like a humbling experience to know that you can call yourself one of the best guys that you work for, and you got a chance to like be great and get that 5-star. So.
Now, you have a prior relationship with Jimmy Smith. How big was that? Jimmy was just at the high school Cedar Grove roughly about 2.5 years ago as the head football coach, not too far from where you attend high school. With Coach Smith being your lead recruiter and being so well known in that area, as I think he has a relationship with your family as well. MJ, talk about that going forward. How big will that be for Arkansas? You have 2 years left, but how big will that relationship be in your final decision?
I mean, that would definitely be a big decision because he's good friends with my dad. So, if we got a good relationship with him, then like that just makes me feel more comfortable to making that decision to maybe commit to Arkansas. Because I know people down there. I have a good relationship with him. I know I'm going to be around him. I know he's a good person.
Right.
So that kind of lets me know that the whole staff is going to be good to me, and I can feel comfortable around them because I have a good relationship with Coach Smith.
Started as a sophomore at the varsity level, but what are some of the things that you're working on heading into your junior campaign, MJ?
In the sophomore season, I feel like I grew as a quarterback a lot since my freshman year, but I got better at it. But now on my junior, I want to take my game to the next level, and so I want to do that by just getting coverages down to where it's I can know them on the back of my hand, where I can walk up to the line and just know what the defense is going to do before the ball even snaps, where I can always be a step ahead of everybody.
Right. Talking with MJ Morse, Villa Rica, Georgia, Carrollton High School. When you look at NFL or collegiate quarterbacks, MJ, I know a lot of comparison. When I look at your film, Deshaun Watson jumps out to me big time with some of the plays that you're able to make. You kind of see Deshaun have made those plays either at Clemson or with the Texans. But who are some collegiate or like I said, NFL quarterbacks that you really study?
Well, I mean, of course, Deshaun Watson, and that's because he has one of the same quarterback trainers as me, Quincy Avery. So me and him, I've seen him work out in person. That's just a great thing to see. I'm really standing in front of an NFL quarterback, and he's teaching me stuff. So I definitely look up to him. I watch him every time he plays. I study him. I try to base my game off of him pretty much. Then when I'm for college, I would probably say Cam Newton when he's in college. That's definitely a big role model to me. So I definitely watch him a lot too.
Knowing Coach Sam Pittman, as you had the privilege of, meeting Coach when he was offensive line coach at Georgia, having gone down to a couple of Georgia Bulldog football camps. With Coach Pittman now being the head coach at the University of Arkansas and your prior relationship, how does that feel to know that you have a relationship with the head coach here at Arkansas and he was part of extending that offer?
I mean, that's definitely the best thing you can have is a good relationship with the head coach. I mean, that's just that really feels that feels good to me. I know that that I've known this dude for a while, and I look up to him. So that's definitely a big part.
With not being able to go through spring ball for your junior year and get out right now to prospective universities or workout, what's the workout situation for you, MJ? And when this pandemic passes over, what schools are you planning on getting out to unofficially or officially going forward?
Well, for workout wise, the only thing nothing's really changed that much because we pretty much have everything I need to work out at home. So, and then we have a big hill on the side of our house. I can do that. I have to have a football at home. I have dad and a little brother I can go to. So nothing's really changed. Everything's really still the same working out wise. And then when all this goes over, I'm definitely gonna take a visit to Mizzou, Arkansas, Michigan, Florida State, Penn State, and probably Oregon, and then probably Alabama.
When I come to Carrollton High School there in Villa Rica, Georgia, I get my popcorn, my 20-ounce Coke. I'm going to the highest bleacher in the stadium. When that ball is kicked off in 4 quarters, what type of football player am I going to see in number 6, Miles Morris?
Fourth quarter?
For 4 quarters, what type of ball player am I going to watch?
I mean, you're going to see the same ball player you've seen since the first quarter, because ever since when the ball kicked off in the first quarter, the whole game changes. It stays the same. I don't get nervous just because it's fourth quarter, and even if we're down, I don't get nervous. I stay the same. I just make sure that my teammates stay confident in themselves. I make sure my coaches stay confident, and I just know that I have a mindset that we're going to win this game no matter what. It doesn't matter if we're down by 30, if we're up by 70. We got to play the same from when the ball kicked off in the first quarter to where that clock hit 0 in the fourth quarter.
Good point. Well, let's have a little fun with you right now, MJ. We're in Villa Rica, riding around, just you and myself, vibing. On your playlist, what are the first 5 songs that we're going to listen to?
Let's see. If I get the off, I'm definitely playing Freestyle by Lil Baby. That's number 1. No Sucker by Lil Baby. That's number 2. EA by Young Nudie. Red Eye by Young Boy. And then Yeah Yeah by Young Nudie. That's the first 5 songs I'm playing.
I'm with that. I'm definitely going to have to ride with you. MJ, can you tell the listeners something that they may not know about Miles Morris that you'd like to share with them?
Well, what most people don't know, because football kind of overtakes it, is that I'm actually like a really great baseball player, and like that was really like my first. Like I have a dream of playing in the MLB one day. Like that's really like I don't think most people really look, because they just look at me as like a highly recruited quarterback, but they don't like some people don't know that I'm really a great baseball player, and I can really like have a chance playing in the MLB one day.
See, I caught that on film before we came on. I think we talked about, I thought you played some baseball. I got 2 of the 3 positions right when I guessed it. I just didn't get the third one. But last question, MJ, and I want you to finish this, and thanks for taking time out with us today. When football is done with, for Miles MJ Morris, he's going to be doing what with his life afterwards?
If my life goes how it goes, and I play as long as I want to have. Definitely it starts with having a great academics. So I definitely want to have that. But then I just want to be able to like make sure that I can take care of my family and they don't have to do anything. I just want to be able to like make sure that I can look out for people. I can help people that are in need. I can maybe like open, because that's what my mom always taught me. She says like when you get your money and football's over with, like make sure you look out for other people that need help. So that's that I want to mentor like other, like maybe high school kids that are trying to be great. I want to do that type of stuff.
Well, my man, hey, with the way you're heading and your mind frame, I don't have any doubt that you're going to be a very successful guy, both on the football field, the baseball field, and in regular life. But for now, my man, hey, let's keep in touch. This line is your line, so we're going to try to reach out to you a couple times a month and just see what's going on with MJ. You up for that?
Yes, sir, for sure.
All right, my man, you have a blessed one, and thanks for taking time out here on the Hill.
Thanks for having me.
All right. That was 4-star 2022 quarterback prospect, major prospect, MJ Morris. Arkansas is really going to put a lot of emphasis on this kid. And real quick, I want to go over real quick to Demetrius before we bring on our next guest from Bishop Gorman.
What about him?
What'd you see in there?
Just a kid that's versatile, very athletic. I will say he's raw. I think, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I think that's great. That's good. I think when you have guys that have the athleticism, and you can see he does have an understanding for the game, which is really raw. I think when you have guys like Kendall Browse and a head coach and a guy like Sam Pittman that can go get your offensive line that you know you can develop behind. I think that sometimes things quarterbacks forget to look at. They look at the school, but don't necessarily break down, okay, let me see what offensive line these guys are recruiting for the next 3 years that I possibly may be at this institute. And I think quarterbacks that come to Arkansas really won't have to worry about that. I think they understand that they're going to have a solid line year in and year out. And if I come in and do my part, that I have a chance to be a very successful collegiate quarterback and get potentially drafted to the NFL.
Well, we have a young man about to join us from the Las Vegas area, Bishop Gorman High School. He's going to have a chance as he continues on with his football career. Cyrus Moss, the big 2022 outside linebacker. He's about to join us. We're going to continue on with Coach Browse and then more Hog Guys. It's On the Hill with Pat Jenkins on KDSJ 479. Back in a bit.
You know, in this business, I've learned that if you're around really good people and you enjoy going to work, then you're going to thrive as a person, and he's going to allow that. And I'm really excited about being around him and coaching for him, helping him be successful.
For those that come to the games, what is your offensive philosophy? Or is it aggressive, or how does Kendall Browse like to attack each and every Saturday offensively?
Yeah, I mean, it always depends on the defense and our personnel offensively, what you can and can't do. But, we want to be a tempo attacking football team, stretching people horizontally and attacking them vertically, whether that's in the run game or the throw game. So that's what we want to be. Hopefully be productive on top of all of that.
When you go out and recruit at whatever position, what's the one thing Coach Browse looks for above all else before you proceed on and hopefully at the end, offer the kid a scholarship?
Welcome back to our Thursday edition of On the Hill Sports Talk Radio on KDSJ. It's our Hall Guy segment as we just continue on because they never stop looking. Coach Sam Pittman and staff, a couple of weeks ago, Coach Pittman thought that they were a little bit behind in the 2022 class, and I'm talking about they hit the ground running here over the last week, and we thought we'd go out to Las Vegas, Nevada, where we'll catch up with big-time four-star 2022 outside linebacker prospect and newly offered Razorback prospect, Cyrus Moss. Cyrus, welcome to OTH. What's going on, brother?
Nothing much.
Talk about the recruiting process. Arkansas, just over about the last 48 hours, came in with an offer to you. Cyrus, talk about that offer and, who are some other schools right now that you're hearing from that's making you a high priority?
Man, I'm grateful for all the opportunities that have come. I've been hearing from a few different schools, few schools just like Arkansas. They don't really want to talk to me yet because of the NCAA rules. I'm excited for August 1st when that gets lifted up. Coach told me that once that does get lifted up, that he's definitely going to be trying to talk to me as often as he can. So I'm excited for what's to come.
Starting as a sophomore on a very, very elite program there at Bishop Gorman, what can you take from your sophomore year, Cyrus, that you're really feeling good about, and what are some things that you learned that you're going to be working on to prepare for this upcoming junior year?
Well, all in all, I felt pretty good about the year. Really, I want to work on just about everything. Definitely want to work on my pass rush because that's the money maker when you get to the next level. I'm going to be trying to work on that. I want to work on my physicality. I want to be just a little bit more physical at times. And we got a whole new scheme going on this year with new coaching staff. And I think it's going to be even better than last year. And it's going to let me do even more stuff and work on that versatility that makes me so special. I'm going to keep working on that, and that should be good next year.
Watching film, Cyrus, at the outside linebacker or defensive end position, I mean, you make plays at both spots. What's your preference, and what are most colleges recruiting you at? I mean, is it the defensive end or outside linebacker, or will it be just they're going to let you play either one, and whichever best suits, that's the one you'll stick with?
Well, yeah, that's the thing about the versatility. A lot of coaches say they see me fitting in a bunch of different roles and in different packages and different schemes all across the board. So on the line, off the line, usually at 3-4, if I'm off the line. but I can give him 4-3 defensive end, a couple of hybrid 4-3s, couple 3-4, 4-3 mixes, all that different type of positions, but something off the edge. That's all that matters.
Talking with Cyrus Moss of Bishop Gorman High School, major 2022 outside linebacker prospect for the University of the Arkansas Razorbacks. When you look at film, either collegiate or NFL outside linebackers or defensive players, Cyrus, who are some of the guys that you like to watch?
Well, definitely Khalil Mack. He's my favorite player by far. I really can appreciate his play style. He's unstoppable just about anywhere. You know, he plays the coverage, he plays off the edge, he plays the man, he does everything. And I'm sure he'll be in the Hall of Fame one day. I watch him, I watch Bradley Chubb, Von Miller. I was watching Keegan Terrell, DB Da'Quan Gonzalez, Anthony Barr. The list could go on and on, really. I'm always watching for him, always stopping the play, restarting it, trying to figure out, okay, how did he do this move? How did he set that up? Why did it work for him? And then I'm like, okay, what separates this dude? What makes him so great? Why is he the best player on the field right now? Why is he that? What can I do to try and, work and work harder to come and get to the stats that they're at? What are they doing?
Due to the COVID pandemic, a lot of young men like yourself aren't able to go through spring ball or take unofficial or official trips. When this pandemic passes over, Cyrus, what are going to be some of the schools that your coach and your families talked about getting out to so early in your junior year?
Well, we actually, the weekend that everything, the NCAA banned everything, we had scheduled visits to go out to Texas because I was at a combine out there. So I was going to go to Texas A&M, TCU, and then also try and get out to Oklahoma. I also had a combine in California and Florida. So I was working on setting up visits around there. And then I did want to see maybe if I could take a couple other visits to some schools later on in the year, but we were still kind of planning that. And then now we're really going to have to replan it now that everything is all scheduled around and reshifted.
Let's have a little fun. We're riding around Las Vegas, you and myself, Cyrus. We're in your vehicle. What are the 5 songs on your playlist, the first 5 songs that we're vibing to once we get out rolling?
I'll have to. I have to say, I'm on that Life Is Good song from Drake. Let me see. What up? Might listen to probably some Playboy Cardi. Some Gunna.
2 more.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. What are my songs right now? I can't even think of. I kind of I'm one of those people that I gotta look at my my song list on my phone to remember the song. Well, I can't never remember.
I tell you what, if you can remember either today or sometime next week with the last 2, just call him and say, hey, this is Cyrus, I got my last 2, and you can give them to us then. How'd that sound?
All right, I got you. Yeah, I'm making a list up for you.
All right, well, we're talking with Cyrus Moss, big 2022 outside linebacker prospect out of Bishop Gorman High School in Las Vegas, Nevada. Last question, Cyrus, and I want you to complete this sentence. When football is done with, for Cyrus Moss, he's going to be doing what with his life afterwards?
I would love to get back into the game, coaching. I want to go to school I'm still looking at it, but I'm thinking I'm going to go to school for business and sports management. So I would love to get back into coaching, be a defensive coordinator, position coach, head coach, something in there at a school. And, or I might also get into the office side of things. I would like to be what's the name of it? It's the scout for the NFL for the college teams.
I can see
I think it's director of college or something like that. Right. I would love to just watch film and just analyze people all day.
You have that coach's mentality, but Cyrus, this line is your line. Anytime you want to come on, we'll catch up with you at least once or twice, maybe 3 times a month, just to catch up on your process throughout their junior year. You up for that?
Yep, that sounds good.
Well, my man, you enjoy the rest of your day. Good luck on your junior season, and Cyrus, thanks for taking time out here on the Hill.
Cool. Thank you for having me on.
That was 2022 outside linebacker, major Arkansas prospect, Cyrus Moss out of Bishop Gorman High School in Nevada, Las Vegas. It just wrap this up, Demetrius, for the three that you saw today, the three young men of 2021 and 222s. What stood out as we close this out?
Just the development. We talk about Arkansas needs to get fast, bigger, stronger, faster. I think these are kids. When you look at what's on the roster, they're bigger, stronger, faster, and you definitely can just see the direction that these coaches are going in. It's been a while since you looked at Arkansas from a physical standpoint to say they look like SEC schools.
Right,
there was a big size difference. There was a couple of years ago when I went to Auburn, and guys were towering over Arkansas's team. I mean, the biggest guys we had, they made them look little. So just the difference of the type of bodies these coaches are going to. And I think it's just their background of being experienced with winning programs. That's no disrespect to Arkansas, but when you come from winning programs, you know what type of bodies,
Right.
What type of mentalities, what type of backgrounds, what type of parents that you have to really make a winning program.
Well, that's going to do it for us. We really enjoy our Hog Eye segment. We'll have much, much more. It don't stop because they don't stop watching. So we're going to bring it to you up close, personal, and let you hear just where these kids are and let you see how just meet some of the young men that Coach Pittman and staff are really pursuing to come to Fayetteville and not only be great football players, but be really good men as they move on. But I want to give a thank you to our guest. That being said, Da'Quan Gonzalez of Stuart, Florida, Jansen Beach High School, the 2021 prospect. I want to thank him for coming on. Also to 2022 4-star quarterback prospect Miles M.J. Morse, and he joined us. And lastly, Cyrus Moss, the 2022 outside linebacker from Bishop Gorman High School in Las Vegas. And you always say what stays out there, what happens out there stays out there. But for my producer, Demetrius Johnson, I want to give a shout out to our sponsors before we get out of here. With that being said, Lindsay and Associates with an office location in Fayetteville, an office location also too in Rogers. Locomotion, located just below the Northwest Arkansas Mall in Fayetteville. Corey Beck's Custom Painting, and lastly, KDK Chicken. It's located at 989 Razorback Road. Go see Keith and Kathy. Get a plate of that living. Like they say, it's not your mama's. The best chicken and waffles in the South. For myself, for Demetrius, we'll be back tomorrow. It's On the Hill with Pat Jenkins on KDSJ 479. You guys have a blessed one, and let's get it.